What's good with it? So today I will be reacting to this comeback should have been impossible video by Jimmy Irola. Now look, this video is clearly talking about the recent New York Knicks comeback against the Spurs, bro. It's really insane how the Spurs just gave that game away. It's mind boggling, bro. I'm so hurt for any San Antonio fan. And then seeing what happened after the game, bro. The players went to their hotels and people were tossing items and eggs and whoever, whatever at them. Apparently or allegedly. Wemby was hit with an egg to the back of the cranium. I'm gone. Boy, them boys had Sniper King Goose up out there. Tossing shit. But let's get to it, bro. Let's get to it, man.
Going down 3-1 in the NBA Finals is virtually a death sentence. Throughout the 79 final series
It truly
in
is.
NBA history, 38 of them reached the dreaded 3-1 deficit, and only one team has come back from it.
Blocked by James. Look at Kevin Love, bro.
And with that
The last time you saw him,
it
too.
was imperative that the San Antonio Spurs
No,
won
I'm
Game
glad.
4 on Wednesday night in Madison Square Garden to prevent going down 3-1 in the series and give themselves a real chance to win an NBA title. And that's exactly what they were on track to doing. Through the first half of Game 4, Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs put together arguably their best half of the entire season. Record-breaking efficiency, stifling defense, and a first half of basketball so dominant that it earned them the third largest lead going into the half in the history of the
Look at this score, bro. And what's crazy is this wasn't even the highest or like the largest lead the Spurs had, bro. How do you lose this game? Like, I am truly just baffled, man.
76-49, a 27-point chasm separating them and the New York Knicks. An impossibly large deficit for the Knicks to overcome. In fact, the largest comeback ever achieved in the finals was 24 points. So, barring literally the worst half of basketball in the history of the finals, the Spurs were all but guaranteed to tie up the series going back into San Antonio with the wins at their back and all the momentum leading into Game 5. What transpired over the next 24 minutes of game time was literally the worst half of basketball in the history of the
like
finals.
For real, man.
It's gone! It's gone!
Just
1.2 remaining. Knicks take the lead.
this is insane. Like,
Here at the Garden.
it honestly
Can't
is,
believe it.
man.
The greatest comeback in NBA.
I don't want to kick nobody while they're down, but bro, it's
Today's
just
video is sponsored by
baffling.
SeatGeek. Handle all of your ticketing needs from the
My
MLB
mind is
to the
blown,
NBA
bro.
and NHL playoffs, even World Cup tickets on SeatGeek. The number 1,000 seat. Once I download the app 10 for
What is this graph? What is this graph? Knicks win probability.
What you are looking at is a graph of the live win probability from Game 4 of the NBA Finals, according to Unpredictable.com. The San Antonio Spurs played so well in the first half that
But I
by
mean,
the end of the first quarter, the Knicks win.
one thing about this is that you know, like, there's always a chance. A lot of people just say, F it, the game is over. A lot of people I know personally in my personal life told me they turned the game off. Like, bro, there's always a chance. And I tell people this all the time. And the game that I like to reference the most is Tracy McGrady's 13 and 33 seconds. He came back. Well, he brought his team back and won the game. 30 something seconds, bro, hitting nothing but threes in a N1 and a 4-point play. So like, the game is never over until it's over, or unless, let's say there's a few seconds left and you're down by 10 or something, you know.
Probability was already just 17.6%. By
Man.
halftime, the Knicks win probability.
How do you blow this game, man?
1.5%. And with about 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter, their probability of winning this game was just
Skyrocket.
1%.
Okay.
1%.
And then
Unfortunately
later
for the
on,
Spurs, basketball
it's
is more than
skyrocketed,
just a
right?
game of probability.
Yep. Yep. It skyrocketed. Like, what the fuck? Bro, I don't know. If I was a Spurs fan, bro,
This, ladies and
this
gentlemen, is a
game
visual
probably
representation
would have
of the
been the
greatest comeback in
final
the history of the finals,
game
and
I would
quite
have been a Spurs
possibly the
fan.
history of the NBA. Because what the Knicks did on Wednesday night wasn't just improbable, it should have been impossible. How in the world did the Knicks pull this off?
I don't know, man.
You have to see it to believe it.
Just crazy, man.
The first signs of a catastrophic meltdown by the Spurs all started right about here. With just under 9 minutes left in the third quarter, down 27, Josh Hart brings the ball down the court and feeds OG Anunoby for an easy dunk. The Knicks playing with a tangible sense of urgency considering their circumstance. The Spurs rebuttal.
Just shoot. 20 seconds on the shot clock, bro. You shot that. Bro, play the game. Like, play it out, bro.
A contested 25-footer 4 seconds into the shot clock. Tim Legler was on the call, and
It's
his commentary on this
unnecessary.
possession could not have been more spot
And
on.
then your coach, bro, this coach, he has to do better with just directing his players. Because ain't no way I'm seeing that. I'm like, bro, hold your horses. You feel what I'm saying? Like, bro, you about to get subbed out playing like that. Look, run this clock down, man.
Even if they go in, you want to speed this game up to give your team more possessions.
Just moments later, Jalen Brunson hits a three,
Hit a three,
putting the Knicks
yeah.
on a 7-0 scoring run while Taylor Swift cosplays as an actual Knicks fan.
Taylor Swift
Spurs
from,
call a timeout. Their
Why is she, bruh? Why is she hula hoop?
no scoring run while
Without
Taylor
a
Swift
hula hoop,
cosplays
I'm
as an
out.
actual Knicks fan.
No,
Spurs
I'm
call a
playing,
timeout. Their game plan still intact for now. Just a couple possessions later, after a miss from Brunson, the Spurs come down and get into a two-man game with Wemby setting a screen for De'Aaron Fox. Wemby pops out, and Fox passes the ball to absolutely no
Yeah.
one. Knicks ball, we're going the other way. Fortunately for San Antonio, the Knicks do not convert on this possession, so the Spurs have a chance to come down and extend their lead back up to 25. With another deep, wildly contested three-pointer that, of course, doesn't fall. The Knicks, on the other hand, come down, move the ball around until they find OG in the corner for this open look.
Just why?
The lead now down to 19. Knicks on a 10-0 run. At this point, one can only assume the Spurs will probably stop shooting early shot clock threes.
Look at
and
his
really get
foot,
At this
bruh.
point, one can only assume the
Yeah.
Spurs will
Gone. Subway sandwich toes. Feet. $5. $5 foot long.
probably stop shooting early shot clock threes to really get into their half-court offense, right?
Points, Brunson with 22. They've got 44 of the 62. Johnson wide open.
Just chuck
And in.
threes.
Right.
Why,
At least on the
bro?
next possession, the Spurs do a better job at getting into something that resembles a coherent
Fox
offense.
gotta be doing this on purpose, bro.
Fox step back three.
It's another highly
Yeah,
contested step
Fox
back
gotta be
and
doing
another
this on
miss.
purpose, bro. I
What's
don't-
worse than another missed three?
Cornette checks in. Hart tries a three.
Giving up another three on the other end just 27 seconds later. The Knicks now on a 13-0 run. Eventually, the Spurs got back on track and maintained their lead over the next 6 minutes, slowly working down the clock and holding off the Knicks, which in and of itself was a miracle considering how poorly they were playing. Throughout the third quarter, the Spurs attempted 20 shots. They hit 4 of them. In fact, they had
Wow.
more turnovers than they did made shots in
That's
the quarter. At the
insane,
start of the
bro.
quarter, the
420.
Spurs had a 27-point lead. By the end of it, their lead was just 15. But that was some of the worst basketball the Spurs had played all season, especially considering the first half they just put up. It would take an unprecedented, horrific collapse to follow up that third quarter with an even worse fourth quarter.
Cornette checks in. Hart
I'm not even a
tries three.
Spurs fan, and I'm hurt. Like, I'm hurt because you had the game, man.
Colorado tries a three. Rolls around and drops in. Beautiful
It's
pass
just
inside. Bridge.
crazy, bro.
Shot clock winding down. Towns off the bounce. Step back. Puts up the three. It's good. Alvarado and Brunson. Anunoby. Three-pointer's good. 6 3-pointers for Anunoby.
You ever watch a game and see some stuff that can only be attributed to what feels like fate? Despite the adjustments, despite the attention to detail or the effort, it just seems like there's an outcome that is destined to happen. This was one of those games. After having one of the greatest
Definitely
offensive
was,
halves
bro.
in playoff history, regardless of the looks the Spurs got, they struggled to get
Why
them
is
to
he
fall.
struggling
And
against
regardless of the looks,
Jalen Brunson?
this was one of those
If
games.
you don't run
After
him over,
having
no,
one of the
boy.
greatest offensive halves
Do
in
not run
playoff
him over.
history,
But
regardless of the looks the Spurs.
Wemby, we might have to hit the weight room or something. I don't know. Protein shakes. Steaks on your plate. Some plants. Something creatine. Creatine, I'm playing, bro. But I don't know. Maybe
After having one of the
not when
greatest offensive
Jalen
halves
was
in playoff
like
history,
his feet
regardless of the looks the Spurs got,
or his
they
legs were in the way of his legs. I'm guessing.
of the greatest
I don't
offensive
know,
halves
but
in playoff
also
history,
you
regardless
struggling.
of the looks the Spurs got, they struggled to get them to fall. And regardless of the looks the Knicks got, they couldn't seem to miss. And after another run from the Knicks, the Spurs lead is now cut to just 11 points. Now, some of this can be attributed.
You know what I feel Wemby kind of needs? It's a second big man who can just, help out. Like because Wemby, he's often stuck trying to rotate or, stay at the rim in case something happens. So he's always just kind of in the paint. There's times where he's guarding, on the wing or something like that. Look, but mainly he's constantly having to think, should I go out and help and play help defense or rotate or whatever, or should I stay here in case they drive? And I feel that's kind of causing the Spurs defense to kind of crumble a bit more because I don't know, bro. It's like if he doesn't rotate, then somebody's going to be left open. If he does, then still there's a possibility that someone's going to drive and or be left open in the paint. I don't know. Just watching the game, it just kind of feels like that, or I get that idea. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I just don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
To
Okay.
experience.
But
some of it can be
just
attributed to focus
from
and
what I've
sticking to a game
seen
plan,
or I've
and
seen.
some of it is sheer luck. But when you're witnessing a professional basketball player doing a balancing act, tiptoeing the backcourt in the midst of a historic comeback before heaving the ball to the opposing team, one may begin to believe there's a greater force at work here. I am sitting at home on the other side of the country, and I can physically feel the Knicks' momentum from my couch. Coming back down the court, the Knicks got the ball to Cat in the corner, but he's got Wemby on him, the defensive player of the year, one of the best defenders of all time. Surely, he doesn't just go right at him and get another bucket here.
Yep. Well, right at him. Got another bucket.
Of course he is. The lead
Because
now just
he's going to need somebody who can also just be in his paint as well and help him out. Like right now, there's a lot of just smaller guys, I guess. And yeah, look, bro, he needs somebody who's a bit taller to kind of help protect
another
the
bucket
rim.
here.
Towns fakes, drives on Wemby, goes inside, stops, flips it up, shot is good.
Of course he does. The lead, now just 9 points. Madison Square Garden is in mass hysteria. With a chance to swing the game back in their favor, the Spurs come back down the court. And considering their circumstance and what has occurred over the last 18 minutes, do you think they, A, work the ball around until they get a good look? B, feed the ball to their 7'5" alien superstar rolling to the basket? Or C, do the exact same thing that got him into this mess and take another early three-pointer?
Chipping away, Fox picks up his dribble. Champagnie can't get it.
If you said option C, you are correct. But look, the Spurs forced a turnover on the other end. They've got another chance to build this lead back up on the fast break. Any guesses as to what they will do on this crucial, potentially momentum-swinging possession?
Castle may have gotten a piece of it. Fox kicks it out. Vassell right side.
Another
Three-pointer
one.
can't get it.
Another one. DJ
You can't make it up.
Khaled.
Down on the other end,
Another
Jalen
one.
Brunson works his magic and makes a tough layup off the glass to shrink the lead to just 7. The Knicks are now on a 17-4 run against the youngest, most inexperienced finals team in league history. Now would probably be a good time to call a timeout.
True. And you have 3 of them, man. Get the balls. Keep the balls. Not balls, but
Or not.
keep the ball
The Knicks come
out
back
his
down
ass.
the other way and immediately
Like,
set
bro.
a screen for Brunson.
De'Aaron
Why is Wemby
Fox
guarding a
is-
6'0"
yeah.
Jose Alvarado 20 feet away from
I
the basket?
have no
I don't know.
idea. I don't know, bro. I get the Knicks are playing like small ball too, but bro, Wemby needs a second like forward or a center or somebody else who can just also help out down below. But also, why is he on him? Why?
After the
Like,
switch, he's now on Brunson. But now he's dropping back to play strong side help with Champagnie in the corner. The Knicks swing the ball to the other wing, and there's Wemby right on time to help. And guarding this corner man is Champagnie. But wait, he was supposed to be in the opposite corner, which means someone's open.
Off the bounce. Corner 3, Anunoby. Bang!
and it's the worst player you want open to.
Timeout, San Antonio.
The worst
One
and the
possession
wrong
game.
player.
Mitch Johnson
you want
realizes
open,
he
man.
has the autonomy to call a timeout. Larry David
He should have
is
been
losing
did
his
that,
mind,
man.
and the world is ending. Or at least it feels like it is, if you're a Spurs fan. But there's still hope. After trading a few buckets, the Spurs maintain their 4-point lead until there's about 2:20 left on the clock, and Jalen Brunson hit this 3 over Wemby.
Shot clock at 5. Brunson fires up a 3. Puts it in. 1 point game.
Aaron, that pussy in.
This building is
We'll never
shaking
get
right
over,
now.
bro.
You ever see
We'll
a
never
dagger
get
that
old.
wasn't a game winner or a go-ahead bucket? Well, you just did, because it is now just a 1-point game, and the Spurs are in a state of shock.
And I
How
felt
do I
it
know
too, bro. I was like, man, they about to lose this mug. I was like, bro, they're about to lose this game.
Because
man.
on the very next possession, De'Aaron Fox, the team veteran,
He
a
just-
starting point guard
bro.
in the NBA Finals, did
Keep him
this.
on the bench, man.
Now for Anthony
Keep
Towns.
keep him on the bench.
Throws it away.
He is
After 2 quarters of some of the most appalling basketball you've ever seen, this should have been the nail in the coffin for the Spurs and their hopes of winning this game.
Josh Hart.
But luckily, he
Out of the
missed,
park,
though.
Lost. Oh, he missed the layup.
But it wasn't. Miraculously, Josh Hart missed this wide open layup that would have put the Knicks up by 1. And despite their best efforts to lose it, the Spurs still have the lead. And on the very next possession, Wemby gets fouled and sent to the line to shoot 2 free throws. Now, Wemby is an excellent free throw shooter with a career playoff free throw percentage of 85%. He's also the future face of the NBA in a potential legacy-defining moment of his career. Under most circumstances, this trip to the line would put the Spurs up by 3 points. But this is far from most circumstances.
And got that up on the glass. Credit Castle for creating those footsteps behind him. Wembanyama misses a free throw. The greatest comeback in NBA Finals history. Missed them both.
Once you break everything down, bro, it just comes down to the Spurs really beat themselves, bro. And it's been like this the entire series, but this game really just pointed it out. They are beating themselves. Not saying the Knicks
lead
aren't good.
Still just 1 point.
They are, but
Or at least
at the
it
same
was.
time, the Spurs are just playing like they just
Brunson,
don't know how to
dribble,
play. It's
drives
something I don't know.
inside, goes up, floaters up. It's good. The Knicks take the lead with 1:22 remaining.
The only time they
For
led
the first
the
time
entire
throughout this
game, yeah.
entire game, the Knicks take the lead with just
For the
over
first
a
time.
minute left
How?
on the clock.
You
If
had
this game ended
you
right
had
here,
30 on
what
them.
you just witnessed.
You
is
had 30
already
on
the
them.
most improbable, most unbelievable sequence of events in the history of the finals.
This is
But
just, man.
somehow, despite there being just a minute 22 left on the clock, this game is far from over. Thanks to a pair of free throws from Stephon Castle, the Spurs regain a 1-point lead with just 30 seconds left on the clock. And on the very next possession, this happens.
Picks it out in the corner. Brunson gets it back. Brunson on the drive. The floater's up. Shot won't go. Rebound deflected. In the back
Yeah,
court.
Fox. Ooh.
NBA players are the best
This
basketball
man
players
is
on the planet. In spite of this, they still often make mistakes. And in the finals, these mistakes tend to live on in infamy. For every great career-defining playoff moment, there are
this is
as many infamous blunders that stick with a player long after they retire.
This is going to stick with or stay with Fox for forever, man. Like, unfortunately, but bro, this is just, he played so bad, and at times it did appear to be on purpose as well. So I don't know if he had anything going on as far as gambling, or maybe, you know, the mafia or something, you know. Because the mafia does often come out and say how, or speak about how they rig certain sports games and stuff, whatever. But he plays so like just obviously bad that, dude, look, you would have to be somewhat just a fool to play how he was playing and to make the dumb choices he was making, man.
What you're about to witness is
Just
one of those
foolishness,
mistakes.
man.
Fox has it inside, blocked by Anunoby.
This right here, and then
9 seconds remaining.
he came down there and fouled too,
6
bro.
seconds remaining.
Put his ass on the bench. Put his ass on the
14
bench.
seconds on the clock. The Spurs were up
Keep
by
his
1
ass on the
with
bench.
possession of the ball. De'Aaron Fox could have wasted time off the clock and
That's
forced
what I'm
the Knicks to
saying.
foul. He could have called a timeout. He could have cleared it out and passed it to a teammate.
He get the ball. He want to shoot that
He went up
bitch.
for a layup and got blocked.
He get the ball. He want to shoot
win
it.
this game. But
Oh,
of
no.
all the unlikely things to occur in this game to bring us to this point, converting on a bucket with less than 6 seconds on the clock, down 1 in the finals, is about as unlikely as any. Dating back to 1997, the beginning of the play-by-play era, there have only been
Nerd.
6 go-ahead baskets in the
I
finals
love that
with less than
series.
6 seconds left in the game. All 6 of these buckets cemented as some of the most clutch, legacy-defining moments in modern NBA history. Even after their historic, unprecedented comeback, the Knicks still had to pull off what has only happened 6 times in the last 30 years.
Wow.
What are the odds that they
I
can pull
had
it
no
off?
idea.
About as unlikely
That
as
was a stat.
everything that led them to this point.
That was a stat. Or I guess some type of record. Ew, you know, like, yeah, whatever.
Fires up a 3. Shot no good. The tip, it's gone. It's gone. It's
This was just heartbreaking, bro.
Knicks take the lead.
I wouldn't even feel comfortable telling people I'm a Spurs fan. Like, bro, I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna. I'm so glad I'm not a Spurs fan, man.
And lead it 3 games to 1.
This shit is embarrassing, bro.
1 win away from a title.
Straight belt to the ass.
And that, my friends, is the greatest comeback in NBA history.
Just crazy, bro. How do you lose the game? They really just. Once again, I'm not even a Spurs fan, but bro, I'm mad. Like, I'm mad, bro. I'm not a Spurs fan. I'm not a Knicks fan. Quite frankly, I couldn't care less who wins. But bro, oh my God.